Hello, my name is Mark. Welcome to Mark Thought About It. I had a memory that came back to me here recently, and it made me think about my love of music. And anybody who's followed me before on my shows know how much I love movies, music, and the things that I speak about. I got a passion for it. But I recall when I was coming up and I was a teenager, it was in the 70s, early 80s. And I consider that the best time of music. Some of the best music that's ever been put out was in that amount of time. Some of the best personalities of singers and musicians we had was around that time as well. I have my memories of it where I was that type of person. I don't know if you all know what a boombox was, but it was a player. Played the radio. You could play the cassette in as well. I had the boombox. I would carry it around. I play my music, but I was also the person where I did what they call burning cassettes, where you can actually burn music onto the cassettes. I had a lot of people around me, friends and associates and everybody else. They listened to the radio and basically let the radio tell them what they thought were hits. I was different. I was the type of person I wanted to put the album on. I wanted to play the whole album. I needed to hear every song on it. So when it got to the point where it was past the albums that I had, and then I was using my sister's albums. I was using my sister's boyfriend's albums. I was using my mom's album. I was using my friend's albums. Basically, I was listening to music constantly, and I would play it on a cassette, and I would arrange my order. Sometimes it'd be an all fast music cassette. Sometimes it'd be a slow down one for the lovers in the house type. Other times it would be the dancing one as well. At the time when I was coming up, we would go to the skating rink, and our skating rink, and we were in Chicago. I don't know all around what everybody else was listening to, but our skating rink, they really pushed the James Brown songs. It was great music to skate to groove to, and it was if it wasn't James Brown, it was James Brown type of rhythms and everything else that we were dancing to as well. And the reason why I say dancing because this is also around the time when the dancing that I recall called stepping came out, and it was the same type of music. So even though we were in the skating rink around the music, some of them kicked the skates off and went on the floor and did the stepping dance steps. So that was great as well. But my memory that I thought about that made me speak about this is on my love of music is that because I listened to all these songs, I had knowledge of who what the group was when the song came out. And people would say, "Hey Mark, who is that? Hey Mark, when that come out?" So I was like a reference to a lot of the people in my neighborhood. What made it funny, me laughing about it, wanting me to share it with you all was that I'm hanging around just like me. I got a group of black guys just like me. This is where we are at Hamilton Park down the street from my house. And somehow or another, while we were listening to the music, somebody mentioned something about a white person singing. And one or two of the guys like, man, screw that, man. I'll never listen to no white people music. I'm like, why would you say that? Oh, it's just me. I'm not listening to white people. I said, well, you have been. Oh, no, yo, I haven't. No, I haven't. Well, I'm like, you're listening to it right now. And the thing about it was, when I tell you that I grew up listening to, let's say, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Emotions, the Spinners, the Stylistics, the Shy Lights, LaBelle, Enchantment, I can just go on and on. If you know me and my music, I could tell you all about the songs of that era. But this is what they thought they were listening to. But nope. At that time, I was playing a mixture of music because, like I say, to me, music is music and music is great. Now, anybody who understand what I'm about to say, they'll know exactly what happened. was playing Baby Come Back. Anybody that's not old enough to understand, there was a group by the name of Player that made Baby Come Back. And right after Baby Come Back went off, I played Schoolboy Crush. Both songs, great songs. Schoolboy Crush, you gotta get up and move. But that was what made it funny. Schoolboy Crush was the average white band. So me, once I told you I started listening to these other albums, I didn't purchase the albums. I used the album. And I played Average White Band, and I became a fan for life. It was Schoolboy Crush. It was Cloudy. It was If I Ever Lose This Heaven. It was Music, Queen of My Soul. And that's all it took. And I told some of the guys, that's all it's going to take. Just sit down and listen, and you don't see color. You don't even hear color. You hear music. So this is how I grew up in a all-black atmosphere to understand that music doesn't care. Now, I just stated some of the groups that I listened to coming up in my neighborhood. Then later on, as I got older, the terminology came out called blue-eyed soul. And what they meant by blue-eyed soul was there was that person who could sound just like any black person, or maybe had that tone, but they were considered white or some other ethnicity. Now, I want to share with you in a list of the time I grew up with, what I shared with my friends. I just told you about Player. I just told you about Average White Band. I shared with them about Hall and Oates. I told them about the Doobie Brothers. I taught them about the Eurythmics. Some of them already knew Bobby Caldwell, but that's funny because a lot of us that I grew up with had no idea that Bobby Caldwell was white. He sounded so good. He sounded so soulful. It was a beautiful song. The name of the song, Bobby Caldwell, was called What You Won't Do for Love. And you hear that horn, and taking off from there, such a beautiful song. And if I continue on from there, then we talking about, I'm saying Phil Collins, Queen, for sure, Queen. When I was in high school, we had a baseball team, and I played high school baseball. And I really remember we tried to do a rally, try to pick up our spirits while we were at bat, and all of us be hollering at, "We will, we will," and it was sounding good and loud. And if we didn't know nothing else about that song, we know that hook right there. It was such a great song for a rally. Also, there was another group called Wild Cherry, and Wild Cherry had a song called Play That Funky Music. Then you had Tina Marie come out and just set the place. Huge. Boom. She set it off. Tina Marie was so full. She was awesome. And then she did some songs with Rick James later. But Square Biz, Ooh La La La, all of those type of things that she got out on, oh, she was lovely. I want to say at that time, but I remember how nice Duran Duran was. And Debbie Harry and Blondie. Oh, my goodness. Yes. So I'm bringing it up to share that even over 40 years ago, and even though we were teenagers and all, sometimes you still got to be taught something. If it's not a part of you, sometimes it has to be taught, and it makes you feel better for learning something. I'm not going to sit there and tell you that I knew everything of all things. I had to learn things too. And I love when I learn something, I love sharing it. That's why I love doing this. So I had a thought about it. Something came across my mind the other day in a flashback, and that's why I wanted to share this and just let you all know that there's going to come a time where you're going to have to explain something to somebody that don't look like you. And when you do so, be easy about it, educate. When it came to music, it was all things to me. I was that type of person. I would put the music on before I put the TV on. I would put the music on when I first wake up. And that's how it's always been with me. There's something about music that really gives me goosebumps. Certain songs give me goosebumps even to the day. And I'm still like that now. I have my tablet. I listen to my music on my Bluetooth. And the good part about it now, music is easier to find. Well, I go back and find that music from that time period of time. And even to the point where when I got older and I met my wife before we got married, the songs that I would play for her, that was our songs, I can still pull those out to this day. And she'll say, that's what you used to play for me. So it's those type of things that make me smile when I think about certain parts of music, and to let you know that if you really let music do it, music can be your soother. So I'm gonna go ahead and close that out, make this a short one. I just wanted to throw that out there and say that I hope that everyone is having a great day, and I hope that you give me some likes and some comments, and if you will, share me some thoughts about your music and your memories. And after that, we can dialogue about it. So I'm gonna close out on that and say bye bye.